Hi, so today I'm going to chit chat with you guys about what it's really like to live in Gainesville, Florida. Yes, this is going to be exciting because I feel like uh, Gainesville is a special place. There's just something about it that's different from other places around the country and the world, really. It's very different, and I'm going to go over the reasons why. So, first, let's start with this. There's two kinds of people that live in Gainesville. The first are students. The second is everyone else. So, this may seem crazy, but it's legit. I love it when I talk to someone who says, "Oh, I went to the University of Florida." Great. But that normally consists of them going to the University of Florida and not really going past 34th Street or 13th Street and staying in that little corridor. So they don't really know Gainesville, and they have no idea or concept of anything outside of the University of Florida. So I'm like, they really don't know Gainesville, do you? So I'm not gonna say everybody, not everybody, most of them, okay? But for some reason, Gainesville has a way of pulling people back into it, or kind of trapping you here, trapping in a good way. So I find that a lot of people stay here even though they had no intentions, or they always end up coming back here, or they want to come back. It's a great place to live, but there are a few things that aren't so great. Let's just start with this. The mosquitoes here are like little velociraptors, or I don't think velociraptors is a bird, but anyways, they're like little hornets attacking you, and they're like huge. They're like really big. They're ginormous. And they're just awful. They're really, really bad. But, they do call it the swamp for a reason. I mean, mosquitoes, the swamp, I guess it kind of goes together. Just like any other place in the South, the humidity is horrendous here. Thank you, breast cancer, for the short hair. I don't have to deal with that any longer, but I am growing it out, so, we'll see how that goes. But the humidity is awful. A lot of times there's just really no point in doing your hair because by like 2 minutes of being outside, it's going to look like this. And all that flat ironing you did was pointless. There was no point at all in doing it. But I did have very long, beautiful hair for 33 years of my life. So I'm very well acquainted with the long hair challenges with the humidity in Florida. Next thing, you've got to love the Florida Gators. Don't tell anybody, but my husband, Randall, is a Seminole fan. But we live in Gainesville, and we just really recently had the come of Jesus moment where we have to be Gator fans, unless the Gators are playing said rival, and then he can be said rival's fan that day. But otherwise, we have to be Gator fans. You just can't, it's just unacceptable to go out and walk down a hallway in Gainesville and not say, "Go Gators," especially on game day or like the day before game day on Friday. You gotta be like, "Go Gators." It's just weird not to do that. But there's so many activities centered around the University of Florida, and Florida football and Florida basketball and gymnastics and baseball and all the things, the Phillips Center. There's so much. It's really a culture of living here, and it's just so much fun to have all of that in our back door. Next, Gainesville is actually kind of a small town. It's kind of a everybody knows everybody kind of a thing. There's only like 1 to 2 degrees separation pretty much between everybody, which is wonderful because we have such amazing industries here, science and tech and healthcare industries, that we just have all of the big city resources but it still has this small town vibe, and I just love it. And then if you go to like the outlying areas, Alachua, Newberry, High Springs, it is so charming. It's just wonderful. Those are really smaller towns, smaller than Gainesville, obviously, but there's just so much charm here, and there's even more charm within a 15-minute drive. When you live in Gainesville, you gotta love outdoor activities. There's so much to do here. You can go walk up on alligators and Lachua Trail. I'm not kidding about that. You can literally walk down the trail and there's live alligators right there, and there's no like partition. There's nothing keeping them from you or you from them. It's just like nature. Like, that's just what it is. So there's Devil's Millhopper, which is basically a big sinkhole in the ground. There's so much outdoor activities to do here that you're going to really want to love those kinds of things, because you can really take good advantage of it here in Gainesville. And next, there's this concept of your Publix or my Publix. And I will not go to a Publix unless it's my Publix, because for some reason, even though we're all in Gainesville, they decide that they want to have different floor plans and stuff. It's really confusing. I just don't get it. But also, the meat guy knows my name. Like, he says hi to me when I come in. And, I mean, there's just something really charming about Publix. And I think this is just a South thing in general with the whole Publix thing. But if you haven't had a Publix sub, you've got to try one. Best thing ever. Next, it's pretty much 20 minutes to get anywhere in Gainesville. I can be in Southwest Gainesville all the way out into Hell Plantation, and I can get to 13th Street in 20 minutes. Pretty much any time of the day. Like, there's a few times where like traffic might be a little crazy, but that's okay. But pretty much anywhere in Gainesville in about 20 minutes, and that's pretty awesome. I was talking to someone that was from Miami once, and I'm like, oh man, I go all the way across town. I just don't want to do this. And they looked at me and they're like, where do you gotta go? And I'm like, oh no, like I don't remember where I had to go at this point, but I think it was on 13th Street. I'm like, I gotta go to 13th Street. And they're like, you're complaining about going to 13th Street? Like, if I was in Miami right now and I had to do that, it would take me an hour to get to 13th Street from where we are. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that made me really appreciate our small big town, is what I call it. The food scene is awesome here. And it's getting even better with, you know, the new additions to Celebration Point and Butler Plaza and all these awesome things. But, you know, you've got Volcanic, which is my absolute favorite sushi. And they did win Iron Chef Gainesville a couple times, so I'm not alone in this. They have amazing sushi. We got the battles between Paisanos and Satchel's Pizza. Satchel's is a staple Gainesville. It's been here for years, and Paisanos is quickly stepping on their tails there. But two amazing pizza places that are just iconic to Gainesville. You can't miss those. And there's so many more. There's so many amazing restaurants in Gainesville. Lastly, one of my favorite things about Gainesville is, you know, something I didn't really appreciate before, but I definitely have a new appreciation for this part of Gainesville. I love that we have world-class medical facilities right here in our back door, and I can get to the University of Florida Shands in 5 minutes from my house. I have a daughter who was born in 2013 who's medically complex and she has special needs. And I have a niece who I didn't appreciate as much with my niece because I was a lot younger and when she was born. But and we didn't live as close. We were in Ocala when I was a younger child. But when my daughter was born, having this world-class facility right there, we could see any specialist that she needed. She's very medically complex. She has special needs. She has a medical condition or a genetic condition called trisomy 18. And I'll drop the link to an organization I absolutely adore about that. But the world-class medical facilities, it's just something that cannot be underappreciated, and it's right here in our backyard. You also have North Florida Regional, which is also an amazing facility and has so many things that they can offer. But these are my reasons why, or basically some of the things I really like about Gainesville, but this is what it is like living in Gainesville. And there's probably so much more I could add, but these are the one things that I wanted to hit on. And Gainesville's home for me. I've lived here for 16 years. Oh my God, 16 years. It's crazy. So I lived here for 16 years, and I've made it my home. I went to college here. I raised my children here, and this is home. It's a great place to be, and I wouldn't want it any other way.